Hi, Hiram here. A couple of days ago I did a video on the Weber lighter cubes, the kind of a question and suggestion thing, where I showed putting the Weber cubes, cut them up, and put them into a vacuum pack that was suggested. I'm going to date these and do a test on them sometime in the future. From that video I got a bunch of I got one comment from RJBURG and a couple of messages. RJBURG commented saying, take off the aluminum foil, fill with wax, and then cut them out. One of the things with this was that even though they're individually packed here, they're not really packed. This, I think, was the form where they poured the, whatever it is the Weber cubes are made out of. This is the form for them. And there's aluminum foil across the top, but unfortunately, you can't just cut them out with the aluminum foil on. They just don't stay shut. So what RJBURG was suggesting was cutting them out and doing something like this to them. I don't know how well this will work. It's kind of sloppy. The other thing was, even back before, it was also suggested to just wrap them up in aluminum foil. But the thing is, I was looking for some way to carry these Weber cubes that I don't have to worry about the garbage on the trail. Like there's a plastic coat on this, I'd have to make sure I brought that back. If I wrap these in aluminum foil, then I'd have to make sure that I retrieved the aluminum foil and made sure that I kept it. But, I don't know. This is relatively easy. I still like the coating of the idea, but so what I've done with this is I cut one out. I melt the wax in a tin can using one of those coffee cup warmers. Works real nice. You don't have to worry about flames or anything like that. Okay, I'm going to try to do this left-handed. But you just scoop some out, pour it across the top of the cube, and it kind of leaks out. But that's the whole thing right there. So you cover it and try to get it all in there. I'm not sure if that will seal it up, but that's one that RJBURG suggested. One other question I kept getting was, will the Weber cubes coated in wax light even when they're wet? So what I did here was a worst case scenario. I put one in a plastic bottle full of water. It's been in here for a couple of days. You may have seen it off to the side. This is like the worst case scenario you could get. There's bubbles forming on it and stuff, but let's take it out. Oops. Afraid that might happen. There's that. There's the cube. Let me sop up some of this water. Always messy. So there we have the cube. It's wet. Shouldn't have taken it off the screen though. Just a little bit wet. Now this was also another change that was suggested of putting wicks in the cube before you cut them or before you coat them in wax. Makes a little wick there. Hope you can see it. This is kind of cool, but my only problem with it is people might, with the attitude today, you got to be careful. People might think that it's a cherry bomb or something and get you in trouble if you're in a campsite trying to use this. So here it is, still a little damp. Let's see what happens. Melts the wax off. That lights up. Okay, we'll just let that sit there and see what happens. Can you see it there? Another question I had was whether an uncoated cube would burn the same time or longer, or rather, would a coated cube burn longer than an uncoated cube? So I thought I'd do a little test here. Let me just set this off to the side. What I'm going to do is I have two cubes here. This one weighed, let's see, where are my notes? This one weighed 10.8 grams or 0.38 ounces. This one, before I coated it, weighed 10.7 grams or 0.38 ounces. That's kind of a good example of the difference between a gram weenie and, I don't know, whatever, somebody like me. In my mind, both of these cubes, before they were coated, weighed the same. But to a gram weenie person, that 0.1 grams is big time. So just a little note there. But what I've got here is 2 cubes, one coated, one uncoated. This one, after it's coated, weighs 18.0 grams, so it picked up about, what did I say, almost 7 grams of wax on this. So while that's burning, I'm going to set up my camera again, and I'll be back for a little time test with this. So be right back. Hi, I'm back. I hope you can see this in this light. I have camera 2 set up right here. This one with the wick in it is still burning like a candle. So what I've got is I have the 2 cubes here, the uncoated and the coated. I put them both on cotton pads because the one that's coated, the wax will melt and then go into the cotton pad and make it burn longer. So I thought I'd put a cotton pad under the other one too. Let's go to camera 2. Okay, now we're on camera 2. Let me light the uncoated, light the coated, start the timer, and let's see where it goes from here. Okay, we're now going on 10 minutes. 10 minutes, 4 seconds, as a matter of fact. Let me cut away from camera 1. Okay. On the one with just the Weber cube, it burned pretty good in the beginning. For the first 3 minutes, it was a bigger flame than the one with the wax, but then after that, the wax one took off. There's still basically a little flame here, but not much, whereas this is still going pretty good. The one with the wick in it, wow, that took like until 5 minutes before the Weber cube itself started burning. It was just working like a candle in the beginning. I think this was a wee bit too hot for my timer here. I don't know if you can see this. Well, that's crackling away. Hang on, let me move this. The wax on that one, that was the candle wick one. The wax doesn't have anything to soak it up to let it burn, so it's just boiling away in the cup. But let me shut off this camera. Okay, now the uncoated is definitely run out now. The one that was coated still has a little bit of flame in it. This one, I just don't even like that idea. It took too long for the wick to catch the Weber cube on fire. Okay, now it looks like both of them have gone out, basically. What I do is I cut the wax into the Weber cube and then light the Weber cube, and the wax just adds to it. This wick thing just burned like a candle for quite a while. Normally, too, I don't use full cubes. I usually at least cut them in half, if not more, and then coat them with wax. But this now it's just the wax that's burning here. Okay, so I don't know what that shows. I still like coating them with wax, but just with wax without the wick. Another way that you could carry these too if you wanted, I've done this before and I don't know if I mentioned it. Just take some sort of a watertight bottle and I just shove the Weber cubes down in there, break them up with something and shove them in. That way they stay nice and watertight in this. When you need it, just open it up, take a little bit of the Weber cube out, however much you want, apply it to the wood, and then light that. So this is another way. But I don't know, this cherry bomb, I just don't like that idea. I know a lot of people suggested it, but now it's starting to cool off. I'm starting to get my screen back. Okay, so I hope that answers people's questions. I thank RJBURG for his suggestion, the one of coating them on the top. That might be easy for people to do, but I think I'll still stick with my coating them totally in wax. I thank you for watching. I look forward to your input, questions, remarks, helpful suggestions. And as always, watch for my buddy Max. Bye now.